rest. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want. The gas in the back, never miss. She's so bad that the can't beat the black. The gas in the back, never miss. She's so bad that the can't beat the black. The gas in the back, never miss. She's so bad that the can't beat the black. The gas in the back, never miss. She's so bad that the can't beat the black. I'm inspired by thirst.
Good evening, everybody. This is APBA Brian with the Picks to Post show with friends. And if you're looking at a script for the NFL season, like the commercials, what a great start for week one. Who figures Cincinnati, Buffalo, and Kansas City all taking an L in the first week? It's hard to pick what these things are going to be. We're joined today with Keith W. Long, Overdue. That's his channel, Keith White. Also, Rob Kinsler from Rob Exclamation Point. Michael Peterson is with us, and also Harris. Harris, tell us about your channel.
Say again?
Tell us about your channel.
Well, I've been trying to get the Square Circle Wrestling going on it. It is coming slowly. I've had some computer issues and some other things going on, but slowly but surely it's coming alive.
All right, last week.
Larry Harris is with us. Hi, Larry.
Oh, okay.
Larry, what's up, my friend?
On the comments. Thank you, Larry, for joining us. Last week, Dan Mattingly, who will join us in about 5 or 10 minutes, he was 9-7. I went 12-4. Keith was 9-7. Tim was 10-6. My son Justin sent me his picks. He was 11-5. Matt McClellan, another friend of the channel, was 8-8. And Anthony Crooks was with us last week. He was 11-5. And we'll talk about the colleges toward the end of the show. Rob had his college show on this morning. Check that out. Rob goes a little deeper than we do. He also does the lines for each game. And let's go.
One of them was wrong on CBS Sports. It had Miami favored by 20. That was a typo on it. It's only 2. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big difference. 20 and 2 is a big difference. So.
We will.
My pick changed.
We will take turns talking about the picks. The first game is Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles. You can look up on Gridiron database the uniforms that they're going to wear and the helmets and stuff. I think they're going to come out with their Kelly green because they don't have it posted yet. What's up there? Keith, what do you got on this Vikings-Eagles game?
Yeah, I remember the Vikings the last few times it seems like they've gone out there have not really shown up, and they really need a win. But I think the Eagles are going to come out and try to make a better showing than what they did against the Patriots, try to clean some things up. So even though the Vikings might give us a surprise spirited effort, I'm going to go with the Eagles to pull this one out here.
All right, Harris?
Until somebody beats Philadelphia, you got to stay with them. They're the class of the NFC. Even as good as Dallas looked on Sunday, Philadelphia is the team to beat until they're beat. Eagles.
Okay, Mike?
Minnesota's got Kirk Cousins, and I think he played one heck of a game last week. I think the big difference in this game is home field. You know the Philly faithful are going to be out there, and I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but the Philly faithful are going to be out there rooting their team on national TV. Give me the Eagles.
Rob?
Offenses. Look at both sides. I like the Eagles. Look at both sides defensively. I like the Eagles. Special teams. I like the Eagles. They're at home, prime time, only game on Thursday night. Halftime, it's over with. I say it's a 20-point drubbing at least. I think Minnesota's in trouble this week. Philly big.
Yeah, last week.
And did you want to read Tim's pick off, or I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Brian.
He's got Philadelphia also.
Yeah.
We'll read Tim's picks. Last week, Kirk Cousins threw for 273 in the first half, and it just continued in the second half. But they only ran the ball 17 times. And that always makes it easier for teams to prepare for if you're so one-sided and unbalanced. I think that favors Philadelphia. Philadelphia has a couple of injuries. Bradbury will be out. Fletcher Cox is questionable. But I think Philadelphia has got too much. You know, we're talking about all the Georgia players that they had last week. They got 5, where they actually got 6 Georgia
Looks
players.
like they got a fair number of Alabama players too, as I remember seeing on the television screen.
Their 6 is DeAndre Swift, also went to Georgia. I forgot about him.
Yes.
Forgot about him last week. However, Darius Slay, who got a pick 6 last week, he'll be there. And I think the Eagles will be okay. I'm also picking Philadelphia. Okay, the next game is going to be Green Bay at the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's going to wear their retro uniforms. They're going to go with their red helmets next week. Harris?
Oh, yeah, Green Bay, Atlanta. Where are they? Well, Green Bay has got a lot to be, yeah, they've got a lot to be pissed off about after the Aaron Rodgers injury. You know, they lose that conditional first round pick for next year. It's now locked in at 2. They're going to come out angry, and I don't care what the weather is in Green Bay. You got to beat Green Bay. Give me the Packers.
They're in Atlanta.
Yeah, they're in Atlanta, so it's
They're
good.
playing in a dome.
That'll be good weather.
Yeah.
Michael?
I'm
Good
still
weather.
with Green Bay.
Good weather for the Falcons. This kid Reiser, I don't know. He's strange. He's really strange. I don't know whether he comes or he goes the way he plays his football game. One minute you see him running the ball like 10, 15 yards. The next minute he throws a 25-yard pass that's over the guy's head and into the first row of the stands or something like that. Jordan Love had a marvelous game the other day, and I just think that I think he's just going to continue with it. Give me the back.
Yeah, Rob?
I met one of the Dirty Birds over the weekend, Terrence Mathis.
Oh, yeah.
I met him. Actually, we had dinner with him, and he and his wife, as well as Brian Finneran, ex-receiver, both of the Eagles. Of the Falcons. And he was telling me why the Falcons are going to be pretty good this year. But you know what? Through all that, Jordan Love threw for 2.5 bills last week in Soldier Field. This week, weather's not going to play a part in it. I think Green Bay's the better team here. I think it's going to be a decent game, though. I really do. I think Atlanta, we'll see what Ritter can do, but I really think it could be a good game, a last-second field goal perhaps. But I like Green Bay, probably 4 or 5 points. I like Green Bay to win this game.
All right, as everybody said, Jordan Love was lovely. He threw 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So his career is off to a great start. Last 30 years, or since 93, I think they've only started 3 different quarterbacks to begin a season. Favre, and then, of course, Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. High hopes for him to last like they did. It's off to a good start. Aaron Jones, blew a hammy during that game. He's questionable. I think Green Bay's secondary will just not be challenged. I like Ritter, the quarterback for Atlanta. He has not thrown an interception since he started in the NFL. But still, I'm waiting for him. And he's got some wide receivers, but they threw one time to Kyle Pitts. We've been asking for 2 years why they don't throw that guy the football. And they just don't. On defense, Quay Walker for the Packers had 1 interception, pass defense, and a tackle for loss. I think Green Bay's got too much on defense. I'm picking Green Bay. Keith?
Yeah. You know, I do think Atlanta will make this game interesting. But watching Love this past weekend, I mean, I saw enough of him to get excited enough to think that he might have a good year there. And I think the Packers are probably, like as Rob said, a better team. And in Atlanta, even though it might only be 3 or 4 points at the end, I think Green Bay will pull it out.
All right, we're joined by Anthony Crooks from Bleacher Bums Gaming. And Anthony, we've only done one pick so far. That's the Philadelphia, Minnesota pick.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Philadelphia, Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know me.
Thursday night.
But
Wow.
I'm not going to be
Oh.
stupid. Philadelphia is going to beat you boys. Sorry.
All right, so I got you now for Philly. And then we're currently on the Green Bay Atlanta pick.
And Jordan Love surprised me. I've not been a fan of Green Bay getting him, but he looked pretty good. Young team still that can be mistake prone, but I think they've got more than the Falcons, so I take Green Bay.
Well, everybody is on Green Bay.
Even Tim took him too.
The Dirty Birds look like they're going to take a dive. I do like Atlanta's team, just not this week. All right, next up we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the reeling Buffalo Bills. Let's see, we started with Harris last time. I think we'll go to Michael this time.
I didn't watch the game last night. I heard Allen was awful. The Raiders, it's going to be this is not a game to watch. I think it's going to be a very, very dull, boring game. I don't know, but when you go with the dull, boring games this time of the year, you might as well go with the home team. So let me see the Bills, and let's have the Bills win this game.
Rob?
This game scares me, man. I'll tell you what. Allen is he's not getting better. He's getting worse. He's not a top 5 quarterback in this league anymore. He runs. He will not. And I mean, he's not throwing the ball to the right places. He played a great Jets defense. I'm telling you, this is gonna be a game. 5 minutes left to go. You will not be leaving your chair. If you'd have told me this 3 months ago, I'd have told you you're nuts. You're absolutely crazy. This is a team that can go to the playoffs, and I'm talking about the Raiders. I think they actually have the better quarterback here. I would rather have Garoppolo than Allen right now. Having said that, I don't see Buffalo losing this ball game and going 0-2. They're going to win a last-second field goal right here, but I'm telling you, Vegas, you're going to know Vegas been now. I'm taking Buffalo, but this is just a straight-up pick. I think it's a 3-point game. I really do. I think Vegas is going to give them all they can handle.
All right, Anthony?
First off, Michael, it is good to see you back on these picks. And
Thank
with your
you,
buffering
Anthony.
camera.
Nice to see you too.
So I have inside information. Josh Allen is actually very good friends with Zach Wilson, and he didn't want Wilson to get the heat of the Jet fans after Rodgers got hurt, so he played a shitty game for Zach. That said,
Conspiracy.
And he's Garoppolo's friend too. That's a worry. Yeah.
he can't do that 2 weeks in a row. I think, like Rob, it'll be a close game, but I think Buffalo will bounce back and get the dub.
Okay, we're joined by Dan Mattingly, and Dan, you're still on mute.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Hey, Dan.
There we go.
Okay, Dan, we're only on our third pick. We've picked Philadelphia and Minnesota so far,
Well, I'll take Philly there.
and we have picked Green Bay, Atlanta.
Green Bay.
And everybody is in agreement on both those picks. And now you're current with us, and it's your turn to tell us about Vegas and Buffalo.
Well, man, Buffalo, that was a fun game last night. Well, Josh Allen, we'll see. This is the Josh Allen from 3 years ago. Madden curse, maybe, I don't know. But he looked bad. I think, Rob, you summed it up nicely. He's using his legs too much. He's playing hero ball. He's not within an offense. It's bad. He's got to stop that. And man, if this goes to overtime, he's 0-6 now. The guy isn't that clutch. I really have trouble seeing their path through a loaded AFC East. But that said, I think they've got enough to beat the Raiders. Give me the Bills.
Okay. Jimmy Garoppolo is off to a good start for the Raiders. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, about 200 yards passing. Josh Jacobs changed his number from 28 to 8, but he will be just as effective. And everything, I agree with everything you said about Josh Allen, except for I've seen this movie before. He'll have a game where he plays hero ball. And then Sean McDermott reins him in. Much like Mahomes kind of had to be reined in 4 years ago by Andy Reid. And he repents, and then he'll play some basic football. And I think he'll be back to the behaving Josh Allen this week against Las Vegas. So I'm picking Buffalo. Keith?
Yeah, I thought maybe my concerns for Allen were going to be stronger than some of the others in the room, but apparently we're all kind of on the same page with that. Having said that, I don't like the Raiders winning this game in Buffalo. And it's not that I think the Raiders are absolutely terrible, although they could be. With a coach, they had a rough year last year. And if they do get blown out in this game, then I'm going back to my dumpster fire prediction for them. But for this one, I'm going to say the Bills are going to pull it out probably by about a touchdown.
Harris?
And hi to Clinton Parks in the room here with us.
Thanks for joining us, Clinton.
If there's one team that cannot afford to go to 0-2, it's Buffalo. They go to 0-2. You don't know what's going to happen in that division with Miami. You know, the Jets, they're probably cooked now. But if Buffalo goes to 0-2, Miami comes out 2-0, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. And with that said, I'm taking the upset. Give me the Raiders.
The Raiders. The Patriot-fied Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Myers. Next game is the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals, a big AFC battle here. Rob, you start this week.
I think it's another good ball game right here. I really do. Joe Burrow throws for 82 yards this past week against the Cleveland defense that's really, really good in Cleveland. Now, they're at home this week, but Cincinnati, I mean, they gave up 24 points, but I gave up 154 passing yards to Deshaun Watson. They let Nick Chubb run all over them, and that's what they got to work. That's got to be their concern. They have got to stop number 8 from running the football. If you can do that, you beat them. You just beat them. That's just easy as that, because he has not beaten anybody with his arm since he went in the NFL, and he's been an MVP, and he still hasn't done it. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson. Baltimore is a better team here if from top to bottom, if they run the football. Cincinnati's at home. This is a game I do not want to miss. I think all the pressure is on the Bengals here to win this game. It's going to be a good ball game. Cincinnati, by a field goal, squeaks it out. Lamar Jackson will have a big day, but I think Joe Burrow will have even a better day.
Yeah, I agree with what Harris said about Buffalo. I don't think Cincinnati – you hate to call games this early in the season big games, but coming off that performance last week, this is a big game for Cincinnati. I don't think Baltimore is going to run the ball on them if they can contain Lamar Jackson. And I think Burrow is going to bounce back. Burrow has one of the better demeanors of any quarterback in the NFL. He's equipped to handle the kind of game he had last week and not let it dog him all season. So I'm going with Cincinnati wins.
Dan?
No,
He's
you're
on,
muted, Dan.
he's on mute again, Dan.
Oh
There
yeah,
you go.
sorry guys, I had something going on in the background. So both of these teams are talented. Decent defenses. We'll see what they are on offense. I really think the Ravens kind of held back against the Texans. They didn't want to show a whole lot. The game was over by probably the end of the first quarter. Zay Flowers looked fantastic, the kid from Boston College. Justice Hill, he kind of lit it up in the running game. Dobbins, unfortunately, out again. Promising player, just can't, he just can't get the traction under him to play enough games. I think that Burrow missing so much of the preseason is going to throw the Bengals off for at least this next game. Give me the Ravens.
Okay, I am a big Zay Flowers fan. Boston College, he got open probably better than any receiver in the NCAA last year, and he's showing the same things in preseason and in week one here. Jackson's got some people to throw the ball to. Zay Flowers, he's got Beckham. Andrews is injured, I think.
He may be back. He's questionable.
Okay, he's questionable. And like you said, he still has a running back in Hill. For the Bengals, I think they still have a problem on their offensive line. Jonah Williams at right tackle has been getting beat last year, and he continued in week one. And I'm worried about his calf, Burrow's calf. The next thing that happens after a calf injury is your Achilles. And maybe Burrows was thinking about that last week too. So I think he's somewhat limited, although he's normally a pocket passer anyway. I mean, he's not a lot of running going on with him in the past. With that being said, I think Cincinnati they're backs to the wall. They need a victory. And I think overall they're a little better team than Baltimore. I'm going to go with Cincinnati, but would not be surprised if Baltimore wins. Keith?
Well, the thing you was saying about Burrow, I kind of agree with that he's just mentally strong enough that I don't think a bad performance is something that's going to hold him back. I do worry about his calf, though, and I wonder if that had something to do with his performance this last week. If Burrow is 100%, I think the Bengals win this game. I'm just worried that he's not, and we're not hearing about what limitations he has. So I'm going to take the Ravens to squeak this one out.
Okay, Harris?
We all know how much I love Harbaugh. He should still be fired. The whole key to this game is what everybody's saying. Burrow, does he bounce back? I don't think he's really had a performance that bad in the NFL yet. So this is going to be a true test. I don't think he's going to be able to throw the ball all over the Raven defense, though. Give me Baltimore.
Marlon Humphreys is very questionable for this game, too. He might get cornerback. I don't think he's playing. Should mention that.
Michael, are you there?
I am here. I'm just trying to.
Your picture froze on us there. So
I'm trying to think of the right way for me to say this.
It's like a thumbnail.
Joe Burrow last week had performance issues. Okay. I like Joe Burrow. I think he's a great quarterback. He came in rapper dapper with his suit and glasses and suit and tie or a suit and shirt last week after signing that big contract and all. I didn't see the Bengals run game do very well. The Ravens, Dobbins, I know he gets hurt all the time, but I think Dobbins is a big loss for them. And Lamar Jackson's going to have his game. It's a war because it's the Central Division and it's War 1. I just wish this war would have been in like week
North.
Whatever, North, Central, East, West, Grant Lee, Jackson, who cares? I wish this game were week 8 or something like that. Then it would be more exciting of a game. It's week 2. It's really tough to really judge it. But you know what? Again, it's home team rules. It's their opener, and I gotta go with the Bengals.
Okay, we're pretty split on this one. 4 for Baltimore, 4 for Cincinnati, and that's what kind of a game it's going to be.
What did Tim say on it?
Well, Tim has got Baltimore.
Okay.
5
Next
for the
game is the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Hey, Anthony?
Dan Campbell is what in the coaching profession we call eccentric. He's a different guy.
He's a different kind of bird.
Psycho is a better word.
He is the kind of coach that when he gets a team rolling, guys will play for him. And they did lose a good locker room leader in Jamal Williams, who went to New Orleans this year. But I think overall the chemistry is built there, and just the confidence that he exudes in his team really translates to them. And coming off that big win over KC is going to carry them. Again, Seattle, Pete Carroll always puts tough teams out there. But I think based on the emotion they're riding now, and they could crash later, but I think Detroit takes this game based on that.
Okay, Dan?
I'm with you. I think.
Yeah, Clinton, we can see your picks, buddy. You're
good.
There he is.
Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, so Detroit, I liked what I saw from the rookie running back Gibbs. I think the defense is much improved from last year. Aiden Hutchinson is a game wrecker. They were moving him all around the line. Whenever they had him on a guard, he was just through the Chiefs' offensive line like it was nothing. The Lions, they're gonna have the weapons. St. Brown is a tough cover, but I really believe that they got their quarterback for free. They got Goff, and I think the Rams had to give up a pick for him. So I like the Lions this year, and I think they can beat this Seahawks team. Smith, he can put up numbers. But I just don't see them beating this Detroit team as motivated as they are.
The difference of that Chiefs Detroit game, I think, was Dan Campbell. He coached a heck of a game. The 4th and 2 on a 17-yard line really caught the. He's gone for 4th down more than any other NFL coach, even more than Chargers guy. But he caught the Chiefs. And that was huge. It led to a touchdown. So that's almost like a special teams touchdown in my mind. And then he also kind of outcoached the Chiefs in the way I'll probably talk about this when we get to the Chiefs, but Donovan Smith has had a great preseason at left tackle. But I was thinking before the game started, can he do this for 4 quarters? What's Donovan Smith going to look like at left tackle at the end of the game? And I think Dan Campbell was thinking the same way because he played Hutchinson on Aaron Taylor. Hutchinson was in the backfield. He didn't get any sacks, I don't think, early on. But then at the end of the game, he flipped Hutchinson over to a tired Donovan Smith, and then we get hit in that last drive with a 15-yard holding penalty on the guy that we talked about holding all year last year. He was with Tampa Bay. So I give all the credit in the world to Dan Campbell. He coached a great game. Detroit has got Gibbs. I think Seattle's a little weak defending slot receivers. I think we're going to see Jamar Gibbs from Alabama, probably the slot receiver. I noticed Jaron Reed blocked a kick. So they got Bobby Wagner back, Seattle did, and Jaron Reed from the Packers, and he blocked a kick. So that paid off already. I think Detroit's got too much for Seattle, though. That team will run through a brick wall for him, and they've got an offensive line. They can block. And the defense, Detroit's defensive secondary is much improved over last year. So I'm picking Detroit. Keith?
Yeah, I liked the Lions coming into the season, and I agree that I think that this team will run through brick walls for him. Be interesting to see what Seahawk players are willing to run through for Pete Carroll. I don't know if it's going to be through quite the boundaries that the Lions players will go, but I just Lions at home. Seahawks coming off a rough-looking game against the Rams. I don't have any trouble taking the Lions in this one.
Okay, Harris?
I've been with Detroit now since about mid-season last year. I got on their horse and stuck with them. They're gonna win the division this year. They're probably going to go another step or two further than they did the last couple of years. They're getting close. They're not there yet, but they've got what they need with Dan Campbell at the helm. Lions big in this game.
Michael?
2 words for Dan Campbell. Psycho coach. Oh, my God. He has to come up with a joke every time he does a press conference. It just amazes me that he does that. He takes plenty of chances. The Lions are a good team. Jared Goff has made a comeback for the ages, and that's why they got rid of Pafford or whatever. But even though Seattle's got to go from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, I think Seattle is going to find a way to beat
Michigan
the
went
Lions.
from one coast to the other.
Well, they got to travel, just like San Francisco did last week. They had to travel all the way to the other side of the other side to Pittsburgh. Okay, I think
A lot easier coming west to east, though, Michael.
Seattle's coming from the west to east.
Yeah, it's a lot easier going that way.
And you know how it does with these time things, right? So 1 o'clock game, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Rob?
Oh, Geno Smith. That's the 2 words you worry about. 10 years in the NFL, he's got 11,000 yards. He got 4,200 of them last year, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. This is not 2023, boys and girls, or 2022 rather. It is 2023. And he only threw for 112 yards last week against a Rams team that many people say, well, we'll go win 5 games this year. And he did it at home. You're going to Detroit. Detroit is a better defense than what the Rams has got. And then on top of that, I think their offense is brilliant. I really do. I think they're a really good team. This is a team, I'm not sure right now they're not a top 3 NFC team along with Dallas, Philadelphia. I think they're right there. I really do think they're right there. Detroit's going to be with the 49ers too. We got to add them in there, so maybe a top 4 team. Mm-hmm. They are going to show, and they're going to show the world this week how good they are. Double-digit win, big time.
There's a video clip of Geno Smith last week where they're playing the Rams, and there was a play where Aaron Donald got free, and he was right on top of Geno Smith. All he could see was number 99, and you could hear Geno Smith say, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
I
heard that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Little panic there.
Yep.
Yeah, he probably felt him a little bit the moment after that.
Yeah.
Next game is the Chargers at Tennessee. And we'll start with Dan.
Okay, so Tennessee, great coach, love Vrabel. No weapons, no quarterback. Hopkins is there. He had his 100 yards because they forced him the ball 800 sometimes. The picks, I mean, so many were dropped in that last game. Tannehill it looks rough. Their backup options aren't good. Levis and Willis probably still aren't ready. The defense and special teams are right where you expect a Mike Vrabel team, but now they've got to go up against a Chargers team that has just loaded position groups all over the board. Herbert's gonna put up his gaudy statistics. Eckler looks great, and that defense, they're not banged up yet. They'll get there. Wait till the middle of the year. They always do, but right now they're fairly healthy, and I expect them to beat a well-coached but overmatched Tennessee Titan team.
Tennessee is the only team that last year did not score 30 points. They just don't have a lot of offense. Tannehill threw 3 interceptions. Derrick Henry had a so-so day. He ran for 63 yards. He did catch for 56 yards. But I think it's all run. They do have a great defense. I mean, their defensive line with Simmons is really tough. But I think the Chargers are going to be, there's just too much talent on this Chargers at receiver. And I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan. I know, Rob, you're not. But Herbert is, and I mentioned this last week, I don't know if you saw last week's show, but he's thrown for more yards in his first 3 years than any NFL quarterback in history. And second most touchdowns at 94, only behind Dan Marino at 98. So, Herbert's got talent. I think the biggest problem that the Chargers have is their coach. I'm not a fan of their coach at all. He takes too many risks. Didn't learn his lesson last week. And I don't think his coach is a great leader. But now they got Kellen Moore for Herbert to throw the ball downfield more, and Tennessee's going to have a problem covering all those receivers downfield. I'm picking the Chargers as well. Keith?
Yeah, I think the Chargers offense can at least score points, and I'm not so sure about the Titans offense. And I think this is going to be a really good game for Herbert. I don't know. I kind of look for him to 4 or 5 touchdown passes, 350 yards maybe, and if he can avoid throwing an interception too, that'd make a perfect day for him. Chargers big over the Titans.
That's great for my fantasy team, Keith.
Yeah, good.
Harris?
Tennessee. Tennessee reminds me of Auburn.
Yeah.
You know how much I love Auburn?
Oh, yeah.
If I take Tennessee, they're going to lose. If I take the Chargers, they're going to lose. It's that game in there with that. But the whole thing is Tanner.
Harris, just pick Tennessee so we all look good then.
That wasn't what I was going to do, though. As much as I like to, I'll take the Chargers.
What did you do? It was showing flare. I couldn't see it.
Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah, and I expect 4 interceptions out of Tannehill this week before he gets pulled.
Okay, Michael?
Does Tennessee have a running game? Is Derrick Henry still with them?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anybody
On the
else?
trade deadline, he might not be.
Oh my God! Justin Herbert was throwing the ball all over the place last week. I still like him. I still think he's a good quarterback. He just needs more protection from his offensive line, and he would be able to do more because he's not afraid of again, another quarterback that's not afraid of things, but really not getting mentioned in like top 15 quarterbacks and stuff, because sometimes he'll throw a clunker and he'll make a couple of mistakes, and they're playing the Titans. Tennessee doesn't seem to impress me either, unless Derrick Henry gets 187 yards or something rushing. I'm gonna stick with the Chargers, and you can't say San Diego anymore. You go the Los Angeles Superchargers.
Rob?
Yeah, Tannehill throws 3 picks. Herbert I've said all along he's colorblind. He don't know where the hell he's throwing the ball. He just slings the damn thing and let the hoops. Running game versus running game, I'll take Tennessee. Defense versus defense, I'll take Tennessee. They're at home. I think they're going to win this ball game. And this is when Keith says that Herbert throws for 3 bills. I say he throws 3 picks as well, and at least 1 pick six. I got him winning by a touchdown. Tennessee upset.
Tim is also picking Tennessee. Anthony?
Tennessee does have a shot, but that shot is getting ahead and letting Derrick Henry pound the rock. And I don't see that happening. D-Hop, his longest catch last week was 16 yards. He averaged under 10 for the game. So I don't think he's going to stretch a field like he used to. And what no one's mentioning is LA's offense was balanced last week. Over 200 yards on the ground, 200 through the air. Eckler and Austin both had phenomenal days. And they're not going to run like that on Tennessee, but they will do enough to open up the field for Herbert. And I think that leads to a pretty comfortable Chargers win. And as I mentioned, sorry, Brian, I have my granddaughter's birthday dinner to get ready. So I'm going to email you the rest of my picks.
Thank you for joining us, Anthony.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And I will see you guys later. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.
Yankees are winning, by the way.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. That will make my night much better. See you later.
They won the first game.
Yeah, they're about to be eliminated though. So don't.
Yeah, I know that, Harris. Yep.
Ooh, boy.
All right,
That's hired David Stearns today.
Next game is the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chicago's going nowhere. They still don't have a defense. Justin Fields, he's too quick to run for 5 yards, not looking downfield. He's just not ready to push the ball downfield. He can run, ran over 4,000 yards last year. But the throwing part, even though they got a couple of good receivers, Mooney and DJ Moore, although I said last year, DJ Moore has got to be the dumbest receiver in football. And he proved it again last week on that penalty. I don't know if you saw the little scuffle out of bounds and they're walking back. Game's on TV in front of the world, and DJ Moore just pushes the guy down. 15-yard penalty, and it leads to a field goal, and they lose by 2 points.
That's not discipline.
That was the guy that they acquired in the trade with the draft pick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
First round pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think the Bears will be able to cover Evans and Godwin. Baker Mayfield had a decent day. I'm picking Tampa Bay.
Oh boy, I am too. I did not see anything from the Bears that made me think that team's got much of a chance. And at least Tampa Bay was able to go up on the road in Minnesota and pull out a tough game. I tell you, Baker Mayfield's not going to be. He's not going to be very popular with the NFC North after this week because he's going to be 2-0 against them.
Harris?
Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
Okay, Michael?
The Bears, I think it's not Justin Fields who they're worried about. I think their biggest loss was David Montgomery. The Bears never gave him a chance. And now he's gone. Who's replacing him? I don't know. Is it Bijan?
I don't know either. Honestly, I forgot.
You know what I'm saying? It's the Bears. I don't think the Bears are that good. They're not the worst team in the league.
No, the Giants.
Tampa Bay can stuff the run.
This decider now may tell you they are the worst team in the league.
Yeah, the Giants are still there.
I don't know why, and they're in Tampa Bay. Why do I think that the Bears are only going to score like 7 points, and Tampa's going to roll? And Tampa's going to roll all over them. I'll take the Buccaneers.
Okay, Rob?
Mike thinks too much of the Bears for me. He thinks they're going to score 7. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to have to find 3 before it's over with. Yeah, the worst team in the NFL, the Bears. Worst quarterback in the NFL, Fields. I mean, and when Mayfield comes on the field and steps on the field as the best quarterback on the field, you got a problem. So Tampa's going to win this game, double figures.
That's talking to me.
I'm just waiting for the day when they pull Fields and say we're going to take whoever's. I mean, whatever piece of trash we got on the sideline, we'll play him because Fields is not the answer. OSU, boo, big time Tampa.
All right, next game. Oh, we're hitting the end. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm with the guys. I liked what Tampa was rolling out. Their defense is built to stop the run, like you said, and all the Bears can do is run. They gave up a first-round pick for a receiver, and they really didn't throw him the ball. That didn't make a lot of sense to me, but nothing the Bears does really makes any sense. They might have broke Fields last year. They didn't have an offensive line in front of him. He got beat up and learned to run first and just maybe flail around when he tries to pass if he can't run. So, yeah, he's kind of broken. Another OSU quarterback that we picked high, and we're just not going to see it out of him, I don't think. Give me Tampa.
All right, our next game is a replay of a great playoff game last year, Kansas City Chiefs and Jacksonville Jaguars. Keith, you're first up.
I hate to do this to you, Brian. I know they got their defensive tackle back, and Kelsey might be back too, but I just don't see the Chiefs winning this game. I think this is a big game for the Jaguars. I think they get up for this game maybe as much as a team can get up for a game this early in the season. And I like their coach. I like their quarterback. I like a lot of things that Jacksonville is doing. I don't know that over the course of the whole season they're going to be a better team than the Chiefs, but I do think that they will be this weekend. Give me the Jaguars.
I've always been a firm believer a football team gets better from week 1 to week 2 than they do any week ever in a season. Mahomes is going to prove that this week. He's going to come out and he's going to throw for 450 yards this week. Chiefs big.
Really?
But
you know, I'm a big Mahomes fan. Most people here know I'm a big fan of the number 1 quarterback in the league because I've been following him since his Texas Tech days. Oh, this is a tough game to call because they got Jones back, and is Kelsey gonna play? Probably.
They're going to practice him and see if he's got any swelling, but they're pretty optimistic he'll play.
I just don't know why. I think that 10-day layoff, I think that's going to hurt Kansas City. Jacksonville's an up-and-coming team. They look good. They play well. I like Lawrence with his hair. You know, I know. Look, I have none either. Yeah, you got plenty. But you know what? It's upset time. I'm going to go with the Jags also.
Okay, Rob?
Look, the Chiefs have been the best team. I mean, they went to 5 straight AFC championship games. They need this game. You don't want to go 0-2. I don't care if you are in a stinking division with Broncos, Raiders, and
Chargers.
Yeah, that division's not real good. But they need to win, and I think, you know, people say 15-15. I think it goes as far as 87 takes them. If he doesn't play, they lose this ball game. But I think he plays. I think he sucks it up this week. I think he gets at least 10 catches. I think they win. I think they win pretty convincingly. I think they got to do that because I don't think you want to leave yourself on the table for at the end of the year and be like, look, this is what we did when we had Kelsey on the field and we still got beat by 3, 6, 8, 10 points. Now, Kansas City, when they have to win, they've proven in the last few years they win. They're going to win this ball. They're going to find a way to win it. I think it should be a tough game. 6, 7 points, maybe. KC wins, but I think they're going to get a scare from Jacksonville.
Dan?
Jacksonville's a complete team. The only thing that, they don't have a defense that scares me too much, but they're solid. They have so many players at the skill positions. Ridley's going to be great. He looks like he's back. I think Etienne is a weapon, and he's a chief killer in some ways. He has big games against this team. But, the Chiefs' defense looked great against the Lions. They only gave up 21 points, and one of them was in Tony's hands. It was here. And somehow he created a pick six. And let's remember, the Lions scored 14 points on offense against the Chiefs defense that didn't have Chris Jones. Chris Jones comes back. If Mike Dana can do the impression of Chris Jones he did last week right next to him, that's going to be a tough time for Trevor Lawrence, I think. The receivers are scary for the Chiefs. There's nobody that I trust out there. But like Rob said, they need the game. It's hard to pick against the champ. Give me the Chiefs.
Well, you're right. Jacksonville's got players. They also got Calvin Ridley, and they got Travis Etienne, one of the top backs in the NFL, guy's fast. But I was surprised with Kansas City's defense last week without Chris Jones. I thought they held up pretty well. They'll do better because now they can't double team FAU, the number one draft pick, and they can't double team Karlaftis. They're going to have to do something with Chris Jones, and that will help the defense even more. The defense actually only gave up one touchdown in my mind because at 4th and 2, that's a special teams problem. If that doesn't happen, they get only 7 points, and the other one was that pick six. But with that being said, Kansas City does have problems. They dropped 8 passes, and they have their offense. I don't think Tony should have been on the field. He missed the entire preseason, missed the whole training camp, got injured the first practice by fielding a punt and hurt his knee. And so he wasn't ready to play. And I don't know about this Tony guy. He had a very good year last year. He scored a touchdown or 2 in the Super Bowl. But he spent a lot of time trolling people. I think Andy Reid sat on that last August. I think the trolling has stopped. But we don't, you don't need that as an NFL player. You don't need to make enemies out there. Like I said before, Kelsey is probable. He'll probably play. I'm worried about the tackles. Last year when we got Aaron Taylor from Jacksonville and Donovan, we talked a lot about Donovan Smith of Tampa Bay, the holding guy. That's what we called him. And he looked great in preseason. He's not injured this year. He is a good tackle, but last week couldn't do it for 4 quarters. And then Aaron Taylor, there was a lot of talk about where Aaron Taylor lines up too deep from the center. Well, we watched the games on Sunday, Lori and I, and everybody does that. Now, granted, the Buffalo and the Jets, they don't do that. But almost Trent Williams, San Francisco, most every tackle we saw lines up too deep, and the referees are not calling it. It's a problem that goes both ways. It does tip the defense on whether it's a running play or a passing play. But I think any reason I'm bothered by that because half his running plays are really short passes. It's almost like his running game. They don't always just hand it off to anybody. But the other thing that bothers me about Taylor and Smith is they're not known for their run blocking. They were 2 of the lowest rated run blockers last year. Wiley was, and Brown, who went to Cincinnati, he was a good run blocker. Mm-hmm. These 2 guys, they've got a lot to prove, and that's what I'm going to be looking for this week. Can we get the run game going? We did not get it going last week. I'm picking Kansas City, but it should be a good one.
Yeah, what Michael said about the 10 days, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that could be a factor too. The Kansas City having that extra time off, and for some reason, it's just my perception and not a reality, but it seems like the Chiefs are slow starters in games. I mean, am I alone in that perception?
3 years ago, they got off a horrible start. They lost, I think, 4 games in the first half.
I mean, but within games, it seems like they do most. The second half is when they do most of their scoring. To me,
Yes, particularly in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
that's usually the case.
Maddening.
Brian, check backstage for Michael.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
You didn't miss any games.
Yeah, yeah, we got your pick, and Tim picked Kansas City on that one. The next game is Texans at Indianapolis. I think it's Harris's turn.
Didn't these two end up with a tied game last year?
Wait a
Somewhere
minute.
early on?
Which is the home? Is Houston the home team?
Yes.
Houston's home. Houston's
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Is Richardson playing?
Sorry.
But Colts fans got to hope no, just like the Texans fans got to hope Stroud doesn't play, but they probably both will.
This is one of those games I just threw a decider die and it came up blue, so I'll take the Colts.
Okay, Rob.
I do that a couple times a year, Michael. You know that.
Yep, I know that.
Anthony Richardson. Oh boy, a trash can come up. Yeah, he scares me, but CJ Stroud scares me more. I don't care who the Colts bring out there. Colts defense better than the offense of Houston. I don't like neither team, but I think Colts go in there and win this game in spite of Richardson, whether he plays or not. CJ Stroud, just another Ohio State quarterback. Bye-bye. Indianapolis, I'll take him 4 or 5 points. I think he win.
Dan?
Yeah, it shocks me every year we have a new Ohio State quarterback that gets taken in the top 5-8 picks in the draft, and then they're out of the league in like 6 years.
2 years.
Haskins not even
Yeah.
anymore.
But they keep doing it. It's like they get amnesia, these GMs. After a couple years, they're like, oh, I got to take me another Ohio State kid. I don't get it.
Especially when you got a guy like Trey Lance out there who is so good, you know.
Oh, he was incredible. Yeah. He looks great in a Cowboys uniform, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I like the Colts too. I think they're a little better. You know, Pittman, he's fine. They'll just air it out to him a bunch of times and see what happens. But man, CJ Stroud is bad. And if they can't get Pierce going, I just don't like any of the pieces the Texans have on offense or defense.
Michael?
Oh, CJ Stroud. Ugh. You know, he should get the Ohio State band to come out to play for him. And Anthony Richardson, oh my God, I saw that. That was a disgrace. Harris, you had the coin flip for that or whatever you did.
Decider die, yeah.
Yeah, the cyber die. You know, that's not a bad idea. But there's only one thing I'm thinking about. I think that the Houston trash can people should take a walk over to the stadium over there and maybe give some team a little mojo. Okay. And Houston, you know, the baseball, everybody's going to be talking about the Astros. And especially if they don't win this, they're going to be talking about the Astros. So let's go with the upset and let's take the Texans. Why not?
Okay.
Check out your phone.
I was kind of going back and forth in this game like you guys. It is definitely decide or die time. I think Richardson did outplay CJ Stroud in his first week. Everybody's talking about he could only complete 43% of his passes, but he actually completed 65% for 223, touchdown, and 1 INT. Also rushed for 40 yards. And Michael Pittman had a good day. He had 97 yards receiving. So someday Houston's going to get it together. I think they had a great draft. I like their draft, but they're not ready yet. I'm picking Indianapolis. Keith?
Yeah, I mean, a week ago, looking at this game, I would have went with the Texans, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think the Texans quarterback is quite ready yet. Maybe if the Colts all dressed up in Georgia Bulldog uniforms, they come out there and actually play well. But Richardson, if he can run enough that he can and stay healthy before he gets knocked out of the game, get a couple touchdowns under his belt, the Colts can pull this one out. So I'll bet on that Richardson will at least be in there 3/4. And
could you look up and see if if Richardson's playing? There was an injury.
He's playing.
Yeah,
he's playing. They said
I heard
no one is playing
coach
right
last
now.
week said he was. So
he's playing. He's going to start.
I'll go with the Colts.
Gotcha. All right, next game, the Rams at San Francisco. Let's see. I think we're on Rob.
Man, San Francisco are maybe the best team in the league. Brock Purdy, who wouldn't take him if they could get him right now? The guy can throw the football. He doesn't throw to the other team. Their defense held Pittsburgh to 7 points. A Pittsburgh team that does not like throw the football a lot threw 46 times. 46 times against his team and only scored 7. The Rams is not as good as the Steelers. Or if they are, they're right there with them maybe. I mean, but Steelers playing at home is always tough. The Rams are at home here. The 49ers, if they win this game and go 2-0, both games on the road, and realize they still got 8 or 9 games at home, they are a dangerous, dangerous team. They will soundly beat the Rams here. The Rams are not going to lay down for 7 points in this ball game, but boy, oh boy, you got to like the 49ers big in this game. I think they win by at least 10 points, and they make a statement game right here.
Dan?
Yeah, this is going to be an easy one for the Niners. The Rams are paying for everything they gave up for their Super Bowl for the next few years, but it was worth it. They got what they wanted out of the transaction. So they're going to take some lumps against these really tough teams. The Niners, for my money, are the most complete team in the league. Like you were saying, those top 3 teams in the NFC, man, that's going to be a buzzsaw of a playoff. But yeah, no, I think with Bosa leading that defense and Purdy looking like an absolute rock star throwing to Ayuk and Debo, and I mean McCaffrey, that guy, when he's right, he's the best running back in the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael.
Let's put it this way. Pathew should have stuck with his pizza, with his Little Caesars commercials, and get his money from what's his name, Iliak. Pathew Mafford. Oh, the 49ers they're just a dominating team. They know how to run the ball. They know how.
What were you sipping on a little while ago? What were you sipping on a little while ago?
Oh. Lipton iced tea.
Okay.
Oh, he thought maybe it was a little bit of medicine in there.
There's no medicine.
So mix
The 49ers are such a well-balanced, well-organized team, and they went all the way out and did their thing last week. And Pathew, I just have a thought in my head. I think Aaron Donald is going to complain about something this week. And I think he's going to be blowing some steam nationally against his team. 49ers, big.
Let's see. Tim, by the way, has picked San Francisco, and last game he picked Indianapolis as well. San Francisco, it's a team of superstars, especially this guy, McCaffrey. I watched some of that game. I saw I think it was a 65-yard touchdown run. He may be the best back going right now. Purdy was Purdy, 19 for 29, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's 6-0, and he has multiple touchdowns in all 6 of those games, which I think he's the first quarterback to do that. Marino had 5.
He throws interceptions.
No, he didn't have any interceptions last week.
But I'm saying he's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's solid.
Why didn't the Giants take him over Danny Dimes? Damn.
Ayuk doesn't get enough love either. That's a wide receiver who can get open. He had 129 yards. San Francisco just loaded. It's an easy pick. I'm picking San Francisco. Keith?
Yeah, I was going to mention Ayuk. I mean, that guy, he's probably kind of the most overlooked, real good talent out there. I mean, because he's surrounded by so many other good players, and this 49er team is probably the most complete team outside of maybe the Eagles, and the Eagles didn't have the showing that the 49ers did in week 1. I was surprised by the fight that the Rams put up against the Seahawks. I don't know if that's them or more something about the Seahawks just kind of falling on their face this week. Rams might keep it kind of interesting. It's a good rivalry game, but yeah, I do like the 49ers to win this game. Too bad we don't have a 49ers Packers matchup, Brian, because you could have your Lovely and your Purdy matched up against each other.
Oh, it's going to probably happen sometime this year. It's going to be
Purdy love.
Okay, that's everybody's on San Francisco.
Harris hadn't went yet.
Harris.
I know. Come on, Harris.
Well, I'm going with San Francisco anyway, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I know Purdy's got 6 regular season games under his belt. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened last year in that playoff game if he stayed healthy in that game. But I'll say this right
a
now.
good start.
Brock Purdy is the league's most valuable player this season.
Okay.
Wow.
Action PC football can answer that question.
Wow.
Bold prediction.
That's big news there.
That's good. That's bold, but a good
Remember,
statement.
did he get hurt in the game against Philly, or was it the week before?
In the game.
No, I was in the game.
In the game.
In the game, right during the game. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was Harris and Reddick that put him out.
And that
Yeah.
backup couldn't do anything.
No.
Oh,
they
Bagley
could-
got hurt.
It was their 4th string guy. I mean, it was
Right.
emergency.
They almost had to put McCaffrey in as quarterback, so they were screwed. Really,
Well, that
that
guy
was
was
true.
that guy was a wide receiver or something.
Yeah, they were messed over once that was done.
All right, my helmet cam battery died, so we just have to go this way. Next game is the Giants at the Cardinals.
Oh,
Mm.
my God.
Was
It's
it Dan's
Dan, ain't
turn?
Yeah, it's
Dan.
Dan.
Painful, isn't it, Michael?
Ouch.
Wait till you start hearing me.
Yeah, try to limit it to 15 minutes, Michael.
Oh, no.
So, this is not a good game. Cardinals actually looked okay, kind of, not really, last week.
Not really.
But the Giants, that was a domination. I have a pretty high opinion of that coaching staff over there in New York, but man, they should have pulled Daniel Jones in the 3rd quarter. They weren't coming back in that game. They can't block. They still don't have receivers, and if all you have to cover is Darren Waller, it's going to be a long day. Saquon, I mean, he's talented, but if they know he's coming, he's going to get shut down. Cardinals, they don't have really a fun team. I don't really enjoy that team, but they might have a little more than the Giants this year. Give me the Giants. I'm probably going to regret it.
My hero, Zero. He's a wonderful hero. He got to hang out with Danny and the boys. They got no running backs. And the poor safeties are going to be destroyed. Even Graham Cano kicked the ball like 20 yards wide to the left. That's how bad it was.
It was sideways.
My hero, zero. We're the
Did you
worst.
have a stage show in New York when you were there, Michael?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a stage show in New York when you were there?
No.
Damn.
No, my friends would give me the business.
That'd be a better ticket than this game.
But let me tell you right now, we're going to score some points. Maybe we're going to win this game. Giants. We're going to win this game.
What are you writing, Rob?
I thought maybe if I did that, maybe we wouldn't hear him. But it's still.
Oh, you're trying to erase him. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I thought he was trying to get us
even
something.
if you can't see him, you still can hear him.
Hey guys, I've got to run for this week. It was fun.
All right, Mike.
Have
a wonderful evening, Dan.
Yeah, you too. I got to do a kid pickup. Sorry about that.
Thanks.
That's okay.
All right,
your pick was who, Michael? The Giants.
I took the Giants anyway.
I was just
because my friend.
Musical.
Because
the Giants
never reached the start.
Jones was sacked 7 times last week, and Arizona sacked Washington's quarterback 6 times this week. So it could get worse.
It doesn't get any worse. How wonderful you are.
As far as pass protection goes, it could get worse. New York's defensive line, they had no sacks. But I think this is going to be a classic get-well game for New York. I think New York's going to win. The one thing that worries me is the turf in Arizona is always awful. Chiefs played 3 games there recently. Their first game of the year, they played there, and we lost our kicker because of it on the opening kickoff. And then we played there for the Super Bowl, and then we had a preseason game. And all 3 days, the turf was awful. Yeah. So that may affect Barkley, the way he runs. But I'm picking the Giants to have a get-well game. Arizona has some young players they're going with. Zaven Collins had a interception and a fumble recovery.
How you doing?
Dennis Gardner had 2 sacks, a tackle for a loss. So they got some young players we're going to learn about.
Are you on your computer?
I'm still picking the Giants, though. Keith?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants last year, that season did happen. And it got Jones a pretty good sized contract, as I recall. I'd hate to think all that money is just plugging up a bunch of toilets in a Big Apple. But
okay.
I like the Giants to kind of bounce back.
Did they give you any news yet?
Maybe it's a game to decide who's going to get the number 2 pick behind the Bears. But I think the Giants are going to win.
We doing football right now.
Okay, Keith, I didn't hear you picked.
Giants.
Okay.
Giants.
How wonderful you are.
Harris?
You know what's sad about this game?
Oh,
We're in week 2, and the loser of this game may be still the number 1 pick. This game could be that bad.
Give me a call tomorrow evening, and I'll talk to you.
Arizona.
Well, Tim also picked Arizona. The thing about that number 1 pick, Harris, Caleb Williams' dad said last week that Caleb Williams, who's a junior, he may not come out depending on who's picking him.
Why would he?
Yeah.
I think both teams are better than the Bears.
He wants to play for one of those good teams. He don't want to play for my,
All right, Tim also picked Arizona. Rob, it's your turn.
Yeah. Man, the Giants. Look at it this way. Arizona played up against a good defense in Washington. The Giants played a good defense in Dallas. They put nothing on the board.
I know.
That's got to be scary. The Cardinals played a decent game against a Washington team. Washington's got a great defense. They really do. I think the Cardinals, because what other state would you had the metalhead playing golf? They'll retire. I like the Cardinals in this game. I really do. The Giants, I think the Giants are toast. They're the worst team in the NFC East. And they're not going to win over 5-6 games. I don't think they're going to win a division game this year. They're going to lose to this Cardinals team really, really bad by a touchdown anyway.
They might be drafting the next Zach Wilson then.
Oh, no.
Bob Bryant just gave me a call. He's in the hospital right now in the ER, and he's going to have to stay overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
need to keep
but
him
at least he's safe for the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the friends of the
Hey.
channel, Bob Brian was on all last year with Rob's channel doing the picks, and he had a fall, and so now he's in the hospital. We need to keep him in our prayers.
Real good guy. Real good guy.
Yeah.
Next game is the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets.
Oh,
Forgot. I think we're on. Keith, are we on Michael first?
Brian,
Lord.
Brian or Keith won.
I
Who's
just
the
read.
Well,
Rob went
I
last
went
year.
last,
Mike-
so Mike went first. So I think it's your turn, Brian.
Yeah. it's your
Yeah.
turn.
Oh, okay. Well, Brees Hall is definitely back. They thought they were going to use Dalvin Cook more, but Brees Hall had 127 yards and Cook only had 33. But they've got quite the tandem, sort of like when Cleveland had Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Now they've got the tandem. You need two running backs. I think these two teams kind of mirror each other now without Aaron Rodgers. Both are going to need to run the football. Both play defense, and both are going to need their special teams. I kind of like Saleh, the coach at New York, a little more than I like. I'm not a huge Dallas McCarthy. Yeah. Now, Dallas has got a good plan. They got rid of the OC because they want to run the ball more. They listen to all their fans saying, run the football, run the damn football. And then they traded away Ezekiel Elliott, which I don't understand because he did okay with New England last week. And they do kind of need a big back because Pollard has always been on a quote-unquote pitch count. They don't want him taking too much punishment. I don't know how much punishment Deuce Vaughn's going to take if he's the backup running back. He's 5'6". He could be another Darren Sproles. It didn't look like it last week, but he did average 6.4 yards a touch in college. He was outstanding in college. I got this as a close game. If Dan was still with us, I'd be talking about Dorrance Armstrong, who had 2 sacks from KU. We talked about him all last year. Parsons had 1. I don't think the Jets should try to throw the ball more than 20 yards downfield because they're not going to have time to do that. Dallas' defense is the fastest defense I saw last week. They are fast. And they would be all over Zach Wilson unless he does little short throws, and they're going to have to run the ball. And nothing slows down a pass rush better than running the ball at the pass rushers. So if New York can get that going with Brees Hall, they'll have a chance. But I'm picking Dallas. Keith?
Yeah, I mean, I like so much about what the Jets have. It's just now the quarterback is such a problem. I mean, you can't trust Zach Wilson to go out there and not make some really bad interception throws. And even if they could tell him, just complete 40 to 45% of your passes and just don't throw any interceptions, maybe with the skill position guys they have, they could make some big plays and keep themselves in some games. Dallas is too big of a task here, I think, for the Jets this week. So I'm going to go with Dallas. And I heard a caller on Jim Rome's show today say JETS, just end the season. I thought that was clever.
Oh boy, this is not going to be a 40-0 game. We know that it's going to be a better game. I don't see the Jets staying with the Cowboys now just because they're not going to be able to throw the football all over the place, and they're going to need to throw the football to win the game. You're not going to run. You're not going to run on that defense. Cowboys, and I'm going to say 2 touchdowns.
Dallas. Rob?
I'm not going to go quite that far. I think the Jets' defense is best in the NFL. That's just my opinion. I think they're the number 1 defense out there. Look, they made Allen look like a fool, and they're capable of doing that. I think this is going to be. I don't think neither team scores 20 points in this game. I think this is a low-scoring game. But my goodness, if it was 17-0, it wouldn't surprise me. Cowboys have better talent on the offensive side of the ball, but I'm telling you, I don't think either team scores 3 touchdowns in this game. I think it's going to be a war. You don't want to be playing the Jets right now, but when are you going to want to play them? I guess right now is as good a time as any because they're coming right off an injury and everything, that type of situation. The Jets, their offense right now scares the heck out of me. Dallas is a better offensive team. 17-0, 14-0, 20-0, but it's like I say, they'll probably get even a pick six in there somewhere. But the Jets can't win this game. I don't think. I think Dallas wins big.
I think Dallas has a better offensive line. Did you see that play though for the Jets where Mikael Becton pancaked two guys on the edge with one block?
Yeah,
that was impressive.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I heard that guy for the Jets who had was it 2 or 3 interceptions last night? He earned a big bonus, I think.
$250,000.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
3 interceptions.
How about Becton's tweet? Did anybody see that?
I didn't see that.
Becton's tweet is the NFL should be ashamed of us having to play on this DAMN.
Oh, you're talking about Bakhtiari?
Was it Bakhtiari?
Okay, Bakhtiari.
That was Bakhtiari. Yeah,
Bakhtiari. Okay, but he said they should have been ashamed of themselves for making them play on this turf. He said something about they see to it when it's time for soccer, they play on regular grass, but when it's the NFL, they make us play on turf. He was very upset. So I hope the NFL will rip a turf off up there.
No, they've already responded and downplayed that whole comment.
Really, that's terrible. That's bad. It really is. But that's Goodell for you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Michael, we haven't heard.
Oh, you know how much I love this game. Oh. I just read that Chad Henne was contacted by the New York Jets.
A lot of guys were contacted by the New York Jets.
Anything is possible with Chad Henne. Chiefs found that out.
And anything can happen with this game.
At least it's Michigan and not Ohio State.
This is true.
But that's West Coast.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh,
but that's West Coast.
So much fun. Yeah. I could have had so much fun picking on Regis. Regis is in a boot now, so it really doesn't matter. Dallas's first home game. The Jets, even though they had a wonderful comeback, that wonderful punt return, does that mean anything? Give me the Cowgirls.
Okay, we should also talk about Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to rehab and try to return, or is he going to assume the role of a coach?
He's going to take his money and run.
It sounds like he's willing to coach Wilson this year and try to.
That's
help.
what I'm thinking too.
Is that going to help?
I think it's already hurt.
It can't hurt.
I think it's already helped. So I don't know who Dan's picking, but we're on to our next game.
Who'd you take, Brian?
Oh, did I talk about this game yet? I picked Dallas. Yeah, I did talk.
Oh, you picked Dallas. That's right. You picked
all the best. Brian, Paul Levesque says, "Hey, Brian, I'm currently doing a Heisman Trophy winners FDF tournament."
Yeah.
Okay, our next game is which is Dan's team, Washington Commanders and the Denver Broncos.
My team too, the Commanders. And
who's supposed to go first on this one?
Keith?
I think it's me. But
I think it's Keith.
Oh gosh, offensive line better start playing a little better for Washington because that is the one concern I have. Well, I got more than one concern, but my major concern. I think the quarterback's going to be fine if he can stay on his feet. So that would, the receiving core that they have, running backs, I think are fine. Defense could be very good. I think that they're better than the Broncos in most areas. Doesn't mean they're going to win the game out here in Denver. I kind of have a feeling this one might go bad for the Commanders, especially with the great Rivera coaching them all the way through it. But they do have that special offensive coordinator they got out of Kansas City. So I'll take the Commanders to pull it out.
Eric Bieniemy knows a thing or two about beating the Broncos. I'm not sure he's ever lost to them. Harris?
I'm taking Denver just because I hate Washington.
Okay.
Ron?
Look, I think they're top 5 defense, and I'm talking about Washington. I really do. I think they're really good. And Sam Howell, man, you got so many people saying he's 27th, 28th, 29th in the league. Look, the guy is better than that. He is better than that. And, hey, he hadn't lost. Hey, he's 2-0. Shit. I mean, excuse me. But I
Who
think
they beat last year, Rob? Who they beat last year?
They beat Dallas. That's right. They beat Dallas to end the year.
Yeah, they beat them like a drum. That's right.
But look, Denver's not good. Denver is not good. You cannot turn back the hands of time and make Russell Wilson what he was. You can't do it. Washington is going to feast on this offense. I think they get at least one defensive touchdown in this game. They're going to win by 6 points. Washington travels, and they're going to be 2-0 for the first time in 88 years.
Michael?
And 20 years anyway.
Where did they find this quarterback? Is he better than Taylor Heineke? Woohoo! The Redskins, they got a decent running game.
Redskins?
Yeah, they have a decent running game.
Redskins?
That's what I was saying, Redskins.
Hey, they're better than my team.
No, we're not the Redskins anymore.
No, I don't care. Yeah. You know what? The new owner has Magic Johnson. That's a good thing. Okay? He's part of the ownership group. The Commanders, and I like the name anyway. The only problem I have with the Commanders is they got to travel to Denver and they got to play in that stadium in the high altitude. I don't know if they're ready this early in the season to play a game in this high altitude. Russell, Sean, that's a deadly combination when you have to play week 2 in a stadium that's 5,280 feet above ground. Broncos.
Okay. I don't know how long this marriage with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson's going to last. I think Sean Payton at some point will bench him. Not after last week. He was fairly decent. Denver had some success running the ball against Las Vegas. They're going to have a strong rushing attack. Devontae Williams is back. And 2 years ago, he was the toughest back in the NFL to tackle. He had a lot of yards after contact. And then they got also Samaje Perine, who's another very good running back. But Washington is not easy to run against. They've got a defensive front. And Montez Sweat is off to a good start for the Commanders. He had 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and a quarterback hit. I think Washington will benefit from Bieniemy having played at Kansas City. He'll have his troops ready to play in Denver. You got to drink a lot of water because at altitude it takes a lot of. You got to start drinking water like a week in advance, to be ready for that. Bieniemy's there; he knows that drill. He'll have the Commanders ready for that.
Bieniemy went to Colorado too, right?
Yeah. He's a running back at Colorado.
Maybe he'll call Dion and get some advice,
Now, Washington had 6 sacks last week because he spent his whole preseason getting Sam Howell to look downfield and trying to extend plays. He did not want Sam Howell dumping the ball back, short passes. He didn't want Howell can run, but he's not too excited about him taking off and running either. He wants him looking downfield, and that's why he got sacked 6 times. So I think that will continue. Bieniemy, I'm going to say Bieniemy knows how to beat Denver. He's done it all his life. I'm picking Washington.
Where did they get this guy from?
Does anybody want Chase Young? Can we trade him yet?
He was on the sidelines. Is he?
Yeah.
Maybe trade him to Dallas for a couple of first-round picks.
They got to. I tell you what, Payne is the highest. He's the highest paid defensive lineman in football too. Deron Payne. He's playing pretty good.
Young,
for 1 year?
Huh?
Even higher than Chris Jones for 1 year?
Yeah. He's even higher than even higher than the kid out there in L.A.
The
Yep.
Chris
Oh,
Jones
I-
thing. The Chris Jones thing, I talked about this last week, but that happened because of Aaron Donald's contract. Donald's
Yep.
at $31 million. The next guy was at $24 million going into the season. And I think Jones was like at 19. He wanted a raise, but he wanted to be up there in Aaron Donald's territory. And the two guys are his agents who looked like mafia guys sitting in the suite with him Thursday night. But I think it was mostly because of Donald's huge contract. But now Bosa got paid. Chiefs realized they're going to have to pay some money to keep him, so they ponied up.
Yeah. Just till the end of this year, then he's a free agent. Yeah.
Or
Right.
they'll probably franchise tag him. And that was another thing that was pressure on Jones to sign, because
Yeah.
if he sets 7 games, he loses a lot of money on that franchise tag.
Yeah.
And that's why he
Well, he won't get his free. He won't get his free meal in the luxury box this week.
Hey, Chris Jones is a good guy. He's got a sense of humor. The team will not bother him. They love him to death, and he'll fit right back in. Next game is New England hosting the Miami Dolphins. New England will be wearing their vintage uniforms.
Hmm.
And I think we're on Harris.
Harris.
Yeah. If Miami and Tua don't win this game, they're going to hang him. They're going. This is week 2, but this is a must win. You got to take advantage of the situation. You know, you don't have to go up to New England this year in the middle of winter. You know, they always complain. They always go up there when it's cold. They have the chance to go up there this season early. Let's see if they put their money where their mouth is. Give me the Dolphins.
Okay, Rob?
Yeah. New England played the Eagles really tough, and I mean, Miami doesn't have a defense that the Eagles had, but boy, oh boy, do they have the offense. Who's going to stop Tyreek Hill? Nobody. Not on that defense. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I really think both teams may put 30 on the board, but I am not surprised if Miami puts 50 on the board here. I think Miami wins this game by at least 10 points and goes 2-0.
Michael?
Tua is the man right now. He's like the number 1 or the number 2 quarterback. Could be Tree, but Harris, you made the right point. They're not playing in the middle of December, but maybe New England will borrow a snowplow and just use it during the game or whatever, just to bring back old memories and stuff. The fish look good. I'm still not sold on Mac Jones. I'll take the fish.
Okay, 2 former Alabama quarterbacks going together. You got Tua and Mac Jones. Mac Jones actually has an offensive coordinator this year, and that should help him quite a bit. It already looked like it did the first week. Zeke Elliott looked okay when he played. I think New England's biggest problem is they got 2 rookie offensive guards, and they're not ready quite yet in the interior of that line. Miami, it was a Tyreek Hill show last week.
Mm-hmm.
Get a 39-yard catch, next play 26 yards. Unbelievable. 215 yards, 11 catches. Miami's got Jalen Phillips on defense. He had a couple of quarterback hits in 2 tackles. I'm definitely on Miami's bandwagon until Tua gets hit. And then we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah.
But I am picking Miami. Keith?
Yeah, that's going to be like the caveat of every week for the Dolphins. If Tua gets through the game, if he does, they win. If he doesn't, then it's Mike White stepping in, I guess, and the Jets probably wish they had him still.
He's 1 hit away from ending his career
or life if he's really
that too.
Maybe they can trade for Zappy.
Well, the Patriots.
I was surprised when New England got rid of Zappy, but that's Belichick trying to pump up Mac Jones. I think that's what that was all about.
So I'm gonna trust that Tua's still gonna be in there. And maybe even if Mike White comes in the game, they still win this one.
Okay, now we go to 2 Monday night games this week. The first one on ESPN is going to be New Orleans and Carolina. Rob?
And I tell you what, this game right here is going to be a good game, even though I don't think neither team's really great. During the offseason, I probably would have told you the Saints are going to be the team to beat in the NFC South. But I tell you what, Tampa looked good last week, and the Saints did not look at great. Carolina, rookie quarterback, he's going to go through his aches and pains. We know that. But they're at home. This is going to be a really, really close matchup. I'm not going to say it's going to be a good game because it could be a 7-6 game or 9-7 game. I think it's going to be a dirty game, and neither team is going to play really well. Man, I'll tell you, this is a tough one for me to pick. Carolina's at home. I think they win, maybe by a touchdown, maybe by 2 or 3 points. But I'm not impressed at all by the kid from Vegas. He does not impress me at all. What's his name?
Derek Carr.
Carr, yeah. I'm just not impressed by him. I like Carolina's defense pretty good, so I'll take Carolina by a field goal. Yeah.
Michael?
Oh, what was ESPN thinking when they got this game? Couldn't they find a better game to watch? Holy crap.
Oh, ESPN is.
Yeah, you got Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know. That's a better game. WWE is going to be better than this Carolina Saints game, okay? That's how I'm thinking. Carolina's good. You're right. Carolina's going to go through some bumps and grinds. But, of course, this is the old NFC South, right? I said it right this time. It's the NFC South. That's a mess. It's a messy division. But Carolina's going to probably find a way to win this game. They'll probably win it on a last-second controversial call because it's on ESPN, and the referees are going to get blamed for it, and there's going to be all sorts of discussion on it.
Whoa, Saints again.
Stuff. Give me the Carolina Panthers.
Gotcha for Carolina Panthers. New Orleans, Carolina. Bryce Young had the roughest start of the 3 first-round draft picks, I think both in preseason and then in first week. So it's not going well there. Sanders, the running back they got from Philadelphia, had 98 total yards, so that worked out pretty good. But their start has got to be disappointing. I think New Orleans is stronger up front on both lines. I'm not that down on Derek Carr, the quarterback for New Orleans. Carr, he's 70% with 333 yards. He did have an interception, 1 touchdown.
He ain't got those wacko fans either.
Yeah, and when he was in Vegas, he had to deal with players killing people and all kinds of crazy things that came up in Vegas in his years there, and he had no defense. He's got a defense with New Orleans. So we'll see. Another thing he doesn't have this week is Kamara. He's out for 2 more weeks. He won't be there. Yeah. But I am picking the Saints.
Okay.
Keith?
Yeah, I kind of agree a lot with what Rob was saying on this game. It kind of could be ugly in that, but I think it's going to come down to who runs the ball better in this one more than anything. I'm not a huge believer in Carr, although he might be a little bit of an improvement over what they had last year. And I just like a team that has a running back named Chuba Hubbard. I got to go with it.
That's a name.
Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard. Yeah. Chuba.
Chuba sounds better.
No, you're right.
This game, I think the biggest thing here is which quarterback protects the ball the most. Both of them threw interceptions last week. All right. The other thing is a receiver it's in concussion protocol for New Orleans. Olave.
Olave. Chris Olave.
Yeah, he's in concussion
Another
protocol
Ohio
right
State
now.
product.
Yeah,
we're really ripping them this week.
he was having a hell of a game, and first or second play in the fourth quarter, he got his bell rung, and he's been out. Did not practice today, so he's got to go through the 5-step protocol. I'm going to take the Saints in this game, thinking he's going to be back, but if he don't come back, it could be a 10-7 game the other way.
But Rob, remember, the Ohio State had that coach that went down to Jacksonville and had a great professional football career.
Yeah.
Oh no,
he
didn't.
Till he took his pants off driving through the drive-thru.
Yeah, that's right.
The head. Well, he's on
That's
Fox.
why I watch
right?
Pat McAfee.
No, that guy I'm talking about though. He's with Fox.
Yeah, he's with Fox. Yeah, you talking about
Urban.
Yeah, Urban Meyer.
Urban.
Yeah.
All right, the last program.
Ohio State was in an urban area.
Yeah.
Make you pull his pants down.
The last program for Monday night, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Cleveland Browns, which will be wearing a new helmet, white helmet.
Really? They're going to wear that?
Yep. The white helmet.
What? The white helmet?
Yep.
Why?
It goes back to the late 40s, early 50s vintage. They changed the logo to their early 50s logo. You probably saw it on the field last week. And that's why.
This, but that's going to be the unis.
Yep.
Okay.
Looks like crap.
I have to go to Chris Creamer's site to look at that.
Who's first?
Mike.
Oh, yay! Is that the first? What's the story with this? The Carolina game's on ESPN, and then it follows
ABC.
it? Or
Yeah,
is it
one of them starts at 7:15 Eastern, the other one's at 8:15 Eastern, one's on ESPN, the other one's on ABC.
ABC.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's on
Pittsburgh game's
ABC.
ABC.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. It's not on Amazon Prime. Well, lucky them.
That's Thursday night.
Yeah, I know, but still, woo. I just have one comment on this game. If you think that Pittsburgh is going to play well against the roughest team they play, which is the Cleveland Browns, too bad there's no Bernie the Elf. They're playing at home. Now, how well did Pittsburgh play at home last week? Can I say the word awful?
Okay.
Awful.
Awful. And look what Cleveland did in the pouring rain against the Bungles and whatever. So I got to go with, even though he's not there, I'm going to go with Brownie the Elf. Go Cleveland.
Oh, I thought it was Bernie.
Bernie.
No, Brownie.
Oh, his brother's Bernie.
Brother Bernie.
His brother Bernie.
There's a video out on the game last week between Cleveland and Cincinnati where Myles Garrett was standing over the center, and he was kind of bouncing back and forth. They snapped the ball, and he was right on Joe Burrows. They also got Zadarius Smith to rush the passer. Cleveland did, and he had a big week last week. So Cleveland can definitely rush the passer. And that's going to lead to more trouble for Kenny Pickett's, probably lead to more interceptions. I agree with Harris that says when you said that the most improvement in a season usually happens between week and two. That could happen in Pittsburgh. Watt had a great game. They've got some pieces. But Cleveland, I think, is for real this year. I'm not big on Watson. But the rest of the team, Peoples-Jones at receiver, he's very good. The defense is very good. They did lose an offensive lineman. The right tackle is going to be out for the season. That's a problem. The rest of that offensive line is outstanding. Bitonio and Teller and those guys. So, yeah, I'm picking Cleveland. Keith?
I agree with a lot of what you said there, Brian, but it's only week 2. And so I don't think this is the teams that we're going to see like 5-6 weeks from now. I think there's still some improvement to go on both sides. I just have a feeling the Steelers with Tomlin are going to find a way to pull this one out. It might be a close one, but they'll pull it out.
Harris?
Something I disagree with what Michael said about Pittsburgh and Cleveland being that their bitter rival. I think you got to look Baltimore, Pittsburgh there, Michael. It's a little bit rougher over other than Cleveland. But I said early on that the Browns will win the AFC North. They will finish 12-5, and they'll be 2-0 after this week.
Yeah, Ron.
Anybody else?
Look, oh man, in spite of their quarterback, they won last week against a Bengals team that is a better defensive team than the Steelers are, and Pickett is not Joe Burrow,
No.
but they're going on the road to do this, and this is a tall order for the Browns. It's going to be a long, long night, I think, for both teams. Something just tells me, though, the Browns win this game. I think this is another one that could go 6-3, 9-3, 10-9. I don't think either team is going to get in the end zone a lot. Steelers have Steeler pride. The Browns have look, their defense is better, and they're just better.
They got Bernie.
It's just a matter of what the quarterback for the Browns can do. If he doesn't screw the game up for them, throw 3-4 picks, I think they're going to win this game. 14-6, 14-3 or something. But Steelers just Pickett, sophomore jinx, whatever you want to call it. I root for the kid, and I hope he does well. I think the Browns win this game, though.
Yeah, and don't forget, Deshaun's got to find. He's got to find some girls to like grope. You know, they're not home, but he's got to find.
I think this is one of those games where rationally, if I think about it, the Browns should win it for every reason out there. Yeah. I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those ones that do that.
Well, 45,000 people in the crowd are going to be.
I just think that's
a tough place to play. It's a tough place. Very tough place to play.
Okay, that concludes the pro part of the picks. We're going to pick the top 10 colleges.
I'm going to pass on that
a little quicker than.
Okay.
All right, I'll be here. I'll stay for it. Yep, I'll be here for it.
Let's start with. I'll start first with number 1. Georgia hosts South Carolina, and that game is Georgia. It's at Georgia. It's at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. South Carolina's got a quarterback, Spencer Rattler. He was sacked 9 times last week, but he still is throwing the ball 83%. First 2 games, 55 for 66 for 643 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Rattler is doing well. After that slow start he got in his career at Oklahoma, he's doing well at South Carolina University. My daughter and I took a trip back east a few weeks ago for a funeral, and we happened to drive by that stadium in South Carolina. It's a beautiful stadium. It's the first time I've seen.
Columbia.
Yeah, in Columbia, yeah.
First time I've seen it's nice. It's nice.
Georgia's quarterback is Carson Beck. He was 72% first 2 games, 577 yards. Georgia's college football power index is 24.5, which puts them at number 3. So some people are not convinced they're the best team still. South Carolina is number 44 in that power index, and they're picked to go like 5.5 points over average points. I'm picking Georgia easy in this first game. Keith?
Yeah, I'll go with Georgia on that one.
Harris?
Not even close, Georgia.
And Ron?
Well, if you bet $10 on Georgia to win this game this week, you'll win a whole 15 cents. That's what's telling us about this game. It's not going to be close. They're favored by 27. I'm not sure they beat them that bad, but Georgia's at home. They're the real deal. I'm not sure they're the number 1 team in the country, but they beat South Carolina soundly. Georgia.
Yeah, easy. Number 2 in the land is Michigan. They're hosting the Bowling Green Falcons. Keith?
Gosh, Bowling Green's really, really bad. Michigan isn't. I'll go with Michigan. Michigan's pretty good.
They still don't have Jim Harbaugh. He's
no, but this is the last one I think that he
I
has.
was going to say, this is his last week, right?
Right.
Are they going to do the I don't know that it really matters, but last week supposedly Harbaugh's one of his sons coached the first half, like a quarterback coach or something. Coach the second half.
Yeah.
I guess they can have fun and do anything they want in games like this.
Yeah, it don't matter. Harris?
Michigan by about 30.
And
that
Rob?
might be conservative.
Michigan's favored by 40.5 in this game. And if you actually take them and give up 40.5 points, you'll win a dime if you bet $10. That tells you how much Vegas likes them. 40 will not hold this team. This is one I think goes 77-3. A blowout.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't see Bowling Green getting 3
Well,
points.
I'm taking Michigan. Yeah, I'm not taking both.
I don't see Bowling Green getting 3 points in this game unless Michigan just
They may
gives it
not.
to them.
They may not.
Bowling Green's got Missouri's former quarterback, Connor Bazelak. He's pretty good, but the team overall can't match up with Michigan. Michigan's defense is allowing about 5 points per game. Bowling Green will be lucky if they score. All right. The next game is number 3, Florida State, who I think is maybe underrated at number 3, Boston College.
Harris. All right, that says that.
FSU. Rob?
Well said.
Yeah. I'm not sure they're not a top 2 team in the country. I think they're better than Georgia right now. I really do. I think if they played on a neutral field, Florida State beats Georgia right now. 27.5 point favorites. They're going to Boston College. It's not going to matter. The turf is a little bit tough to play on sometime there. 45-10, something like that. They're going to win big. Florida State.
Yeah, Boston College needed overtime to beat Northern Illinois, and they needed a late push to beat Holy Cross. And now they got to play Florida State.
They lost to NIU.
Yeah, that was overtime game. Yeah. Oh, did I say they won? They lost. Yeah, you're right. Florida State's got Trey Benson, Jordan Travis, a quarterback who can throw it and run it. And on defense, they've got Kalen DeLoach and DJ Lundy and Dennis. Their defense is really solid up the middle. And those 2 linebackers and that defensive end, Briggs, are outstanding. Speed, toughness, Florida State, I agree with you, Rob. I think they're one of the top 2 right now. So I'm picking Florida State. Next game is.
I haven't picked yet, but.
Oh, sorry, Keith.
I hope you're right, because I've always, ever since when Charlie Ward played at Florida State and they played a game at Notre Dame, and I was rooting for Florida State to win that whole game, and they didn't. But ever since then, I've always kind of been a supporter of the Florida State football team. I hope you're right about them being in the top 2, but yeah, they win this game easy.
Okay, next game is Wyoming Cowboys at Texas.
At Texas?
Yes.
Those Wyoming, they are 2-0, aren't they?
Yeah.
Both teams are 2-0. Who's supposed to go first on this one? Is that?
I don't know.
I think it's Rob. I think we're on you.
Okay.
Yeah, I went first.
You know what? Texas is going to lose, but not this week. But they're going to get scared. I actually think Wyoming, after the first quarter, may be leading this ball game. They're not going to win this game, though. Texas, 28.5 point favorites. They're not going to win by that much. Wyoming's going to put a scare in them. Let's say it that way. 14 at best they win by. Texas is really good. Quentin Ewers, he is a good quarterback. He really is. But Wyoming, just for some reason, I think they're going to show up this week and really play a good ball game in the middle of Texas. There's no reason for them to do it. I just think they're going to give them a scare. Texas wins, but I think with a little bit of a scare.
Quinn Ewers was taken out of the game early. He's a very good quarterback. They got a big lead. They took him out. And there was a bit of a controversy that they put in Malik Murphy instead of Archie Manning. So there's a little bit of
Arch
controversy.
Manning, yeah.
Murphy's big, tall guy. He's about 6'5", 6'6". Archie Manning warmed up on the sideline, but he didn't get on the field.
They're hoping to redshirt him.
Yeah, I think that's what ultimately is going to happen.
Yeah.
Texas is 5-0 against Wyoming. They win by an average of 24 points in those last 5 games. I think Wyoming's is just too unbalanced. They run a lot, don't pass enough, and Texas is going to be tough to run against. Their defensive line, their D tackles are very good. We drafted a D tackle off Texas last year, Keandre Colburn, and I think he's going to be pretty decent. He got in that first game against Detroit, and he held his own.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm picking Texas. Keith?
Yeah. Wyoming might put up a spirited effort, but, it's one of those things, Texas, you got the what they call those, the trap games. I don't think Wyoming's strong enough to be a true trap team, no. So Texas at some point, even if it's even if Wyoming kind of comes out swinging, Texas probably realizes by the end of the first quarter, okay, we gotta play harder, and then they take over. So Texas wins pretty easy in the end.
I'm gonna skip the USC Arizona State. I forgot to get their helmets out, so I'm gonna grab those.
Yeah, Harris takes Texas, by the way.
Okay. Texas Longhorns, you see that, Pat? Is there anything you want to say about the game, Harris?
I'm good.
So we're going to skip number 5 USC just for a minute because I forgot to grab their helmets. We'll go to
who is that?
USC.
USC.
And who?
Arizona State.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have that game. That's why I asked.
Next game, Western Kentucky at
Ohio State. I think it's your turn, Brian.
Western Kentucky throws the ball all over the field. They have for a number of years. They got Austin Reed as their quarterback. He's got over 4,700 yards career passing, 40 touchdowns with 11 INTs. I think they're going to challenge Ohio State. I hate to say that because my sister's passed away, but she and my brother-in-law had OSU season tickets since 1971, and now they're giving them to the kids. Not sure about Ohio State's quarterback yet, McCord. Just not sure. Offensive line is struggling at Ohio State. They've not been opening up holes for running backs. So they got a few runs when they bounce back to the opposite, bounce back to the perimeter. But as far as making holes, that offensive line has not been getting it done yet. So both teams are 2-0. It could be. I'm picking Ohio State, but it could be interesting. Keith?
Yeah, I think this might be one of those trap game type of scenarios here, and maybe Western Kentucky could pull out an Appalachian State like they did up in Michigan and pull off an upset. It's hard to pick upsets like that, but so I'll go with Ohio State. But hey, who knows? Maybe they can do it.
Harris?
We go to Ohio State. Another game won't even be interesting to watch.
Okay.
And Rob?
Wow. Ohio State has showed nothing yet. That's the problem. You got to start wondering when you're going to crank it up. I mean, we're not talking about pro athletes here. We're talking about college athletes. I think on the outside they're just too talented, though. If Western Kentucky can cover Harrison Jr., which is a big chore, they got a chance. I'm not sold on the OSU quarterback yet. We'll see what happens. I think they win. I don't think they're going to cover 27.5, though. I think they're going to win by 15, 20 points. And we might think at halftime, this is going to be a close game. Then they'll put it on them. But OSU plays all their non-conference games at home. They're not traveling anywhere to play. They should win this game pretty comfortably. But I hope it's a good game.
Yeah, they never even travel to the Pac-12 schools or anything.
They will. If it's not a conference game, they're not going on the road but once a year. That's it. They got
and they're drawing about $1 million for that once a year.
Yeah, they get about $4 million depending on where they go.
Do they have that game this year, and who's that against?
Who is that against? What?
Ohio State. Do they have that one road game non-conference this year?
Yes, they got one non-conference. Let's see. Let me look at it real quick.
I'm looking it up now.
Ohio State schedule might be Notre Dame.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I believe that might be it. But they're not going
At
anywhere.
Notre Dame, September 23rd.
Yep,
Okay.
that's it.
Average ticket is $421.
All right.
Right now, I'd probably go with Notre Dame, but I don't know.
Let's go to our next game. We got back up to number 5. Number 5 is USC, and they're going to Arizona State.
I guess
The Sun Devils.
Keith. Yep, Keith, it's you, bro.
I don't know. Arizona, did they forget how to play football in that state?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in that state cares about football.
It doesn't seem like. I mean, it used to be a time where Arizona, you'd have a good defense, and Arizona State would have some decent teams, and when you had Jake Plummer and stuff around. No, this isn't even a contest. I don't think USC just has another cupcake here.
Harris?
All right. I don't have the pennants for that conference, but I'll take USC.
And Rob?
Highest scoring game probably of the week.
Yeah.
Arizona State probably puts 30 on the board, but that doesn't matter if USC puts 70 on the board. So USC wins, covers easily.
100 points over under.
They'll give some points up though. USC
over under at 100, Rob.
86 is what I'll say.
And what is it? The Big 12? Is that the conference that's getting these two great Arizona teams?
Big 10. Big 10.
Big 10.
The Arizona teams?
Now, the two Arizona teams.
Oh, they're going to end up in the Mountain West.
They
stayed in
the Pac-12. They stayed in the Pac-12.
Yeah, there's 3 schools there now, right?
Oh, 2.
Pac-12 is still unresolved, but they're not going to the Big.
It's just Oregon State and Washington State. That's the only 2 that are still there. I think the Arizona teams went to the Big 12.
Oh, they may have.
I'm not sure about that. I know we're getting BYU. They added Central Florida to the Big 12
teams next year.
I mean, the only 2 teams left in the Pac-12 are Oregon State and Washington State.
Yeah.
So they've gone somewhere.
Arizona State, Baylor, BYU, UCF, Cincinnati, Colorado, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, Utah, and West Virginia, Big 12 next year.
Yeah, I'm reading it
too. 28 teams.
Oregon and Washington are heading to the Big 10. It's going to end the Pac-12 with Cal, Stanford, and SMU going to the ACC.
Yep.
Pac-12 is dissolving.
So it's just Oregon State and Washington State are the only 2 teams that are
right. But they're talking about bringing new teams in, though. They're talking about bringing Wyoming and all these other
Hawaii and
so they're going to try to stay.
State and Fresno State.
Yeah, San Jose State. Yeah.
There's also a rumor of them going to the American Athletic.
That could happen. Yeah.
Okay. SC, their defense did not get off to a great start against San Jose State, but last week their defense definitely improved.
Yeah.
So, and Caleb Williams, he is a talent. I think he's the leading candidate for Heisman. He's got receivers. Arizona State's, I think, pretty young. They've got. I was reading somewhere. I think Dillingham, is that their coach's name?
Willingham, yeah.
Yeah, he's only 33 years old. He's the youngest NCAA coach. They went from Herm Edwards to this. I see that. I think they got no chance against SC. I'm picking USC.
What did he get in trouble for? Or Herm Edwards. So what did he get in trouble for?
Herm Edwards,
He got fired on the field or something.
He got
Oh
fired
yeah,
after,
but
right
but I
after
think but I think it was over the treatment of players. I think.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard the name Herm Willingham when he said it. Was
All right, number 7, Penn State is hosting. Well, no, they're going to Champaign to play Illinois. Penn State at Illinois.
is it?
Harris, I think.
Harris says Penn State. Rob?
Hey, you know what? This could be a hang-up game. Last year, Illinois was improved. They were improved. This year, Illinois is not playing well. It's all according to what Penn State's quarterback does. If he comes out and plays any kind of game at all, Illinois has no chance. But if he comes out here and throwing the ball to the other team, there's a shot. But I don't think so. Illinois loses by 17 at least. I like Penn State this ball game.
I kind of think Penn State is underrated. Drew Alaris passing for 78%, 529 yards. Illinois' pass defense gave up 9 yards per pass to Kansas last week and 6 yards per run to Kansas last week. Now, Kansas has improved. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think Illinois is, they lost Witherspoon off that secondary. And I don't think they're as good as they were last year. They got a great coach. Bielema is outstanding. But their FPI rank right now is only 53. So, Penn State is going to be too much. I'm picking Penn State. Keith?
Yeah, if this is last year's Illinois team, I think that this would be an interesting game.
Yeah, it would be a good game, yeah.
I agree.
Because they played some tough football last year. But this year, what I'm seeing so far, Illinois just doesn't match up against good teams. And Penn State, I think, wins by at least 20.
All right. Next is Washington. I've not made a new Michigan State helmet. These colleges change their helmets every 3 games, seems like. But you got Washington.
Well, they changed coaches. They changed.
Yeah, and conferences. So why not change the helmets? We got Washington at Michigan State.
Yeah, Mel Tucker's gone. Mel Tucker is. My turn?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it Harris's turn?
It's you.
No, Harris held up the Penn State thing right away.
Harris held up the pen. It's your first, Rob.
Yeah, that's right. Mel Tucker's gone. I don't know. This team's in disarray. They really are. And Washington, believe it or not, Washington right now in Vegas, they're favored to win the Pac-12 over USC, over Oregon, over Utah. This team must be really good. I have not watched them play, but all I'm hearing is rave reviews that Washington is really, really good. Michigan State, they're going to be chasing their tails this game. Washington by 30.
Both teams are 2-0. This is a 4 p.m. on Peacock game on Saturday. Washington beat. I have watched Washington. I watched them play Tulsa, which they won 43-10. Michael Penix Jr. is their quarterback. He was the leading passer in the NCAA last year. A lot of people don't know that name, but he can throw around the field. And they're not just a passing team. They've got some line play as well. There is some time zone travel here. They're going from Washington to Michigan, but I don't think that's going to affect them that much. Noah Kim is a quarterback at Michigan State, 68%, 571 yards. And Nate Carter is a running back, 259 yards already this year, 6.5 average. So Michigan State's going to put up a fight, but I don't think they're going to beat Washington. I'm picking Washington.
Yeah, I think Washington's the best team in the Pac-12 this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're not a top 5 team in the country. I mean, the offense looks loaded. If they can bring any defense that's better than USC, then they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I forgot. They got a history of sending defensive backs to the NFL, and we took one, and he worked out really well. So they do have a secondary.
Yeah, I really like the Huskies this year.
Something tells me at least one team in the top 10 goes down this week. and this may be that one team. Michigan State can run the football.
Yeah, they can.
They will run the ball and eat up clock. Give them to me.
Michigan State for Harris. Next game is, I only have the old Central Michigan helmet, but I prefer it. Central Michigan at Notre Dame.
Is it the Chippewas?
Chippewas.
They're playing who?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. I was so busy listening to Central Michigan, I didn't hear
And that is at Notre Dame.
Yeah,
Brian.
I think I'm first.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Notre Dame is favored by 32 points. I think that's probably about right. It may be worse than that. Notre Dame is stronger than they were last year. I'm a big Notre Dame fan, and we'll find out more about them coming up pretty quick, but I'm picking Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, easily.
Harris?
Yeah, the question is, how much are they being paid to travel?
Oh, they're playing at home. Notre Dame's at home.
It's a
Are they
home.
home this week?
It's a
Yeah.
home, yeah.
Okay. Well, then this game won't even be close by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, I agree. The kid transferred from Wake Forest. Those 4 bills this week. I think he's going to win the Heisman. That's my Heisman pick this year. Sam Hartman. They'll
He's
lose
off
a
to a
game.
great start, definitely.
They're going to lose a game, but it's not this one. They win big.
They also have an offensive tackle named John Alt. He's the son of a former offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, John Alt.
Yep.
But I think he's better. His dad was great. I think this kid's even better.
Yep.
He's
Really good.
Next game, and the last of the top 10 games, Alabama fell to number 9. They're playing the South Florida Bulls. And that is at South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I have to believe that Alabama's probably win or lose it last week against Texas. They're going to be probably pretty amped up this week. South Florida's had some good teams. I haven't honestly followed what their start is this year so far, but I don't think that they probably have enough talent to stack up against Alabama. So I'll go with the Crimson Tide.
Harris?
As much of a reason as I look and look and look for a reason not to take Alabama, I just can't find it. Roll Tide.
Alabama's still looking for a quarterback, I think.
And that's it. That's the one reason I'm not taking them. That is the one reason I'm not taking. I'm taking South Florida in this ball game. Alabama. I think Alabama is not a 10-win team this year. They do not impress me. They have struggled even early in the season. Something tells me they go to Florida this week, and that's the thing. They don't travel the best at some of these small schools either. If South Florida puts pressure on his quarterback, and they start wondering, especially if he starts switching back and forth and all this kind of stuff, and the kids have no idea who's going to be quarterback in the next series, I think they're going to have trouble this week. I'm taking South Florida upset.
Well pick. That's the end of our top 10 games. ESPN Game Day is going to Colorado this week for the Colorado State, Colorado thing. Lori and I have had a blast following Colorado's team. We love that Travis Hunter. We love Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
They're definitely NFL players.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter is like another little Tyreek Hill, except he plays defense too. And then he's not the only fast guy they got. Edwards is fast. The other, I don't remember his name, but they got another wide receiver that's fast. Colorado's got the most speed of any team, I think, in the NCAA. They're going to have a come to Jesus moment when they meet Oregon, but because of the Lions. But
I think the only issue Colorado's going to have this year is keeping all the skill players happy.
Oh, I think Deion Sanders will
run the
find
ball
a way to
enough.
do that. Yeah. Primetime will find a way to do that. Yeah, they're already spreading the ball around really well.
I got one more upset this week. I think North Carolina goes down. They're going to play Minnesota. I like Minnesota this
I
week.
think they're playing App State, Appalachian State,
Now, they played who is?
North Carolina.
They played them last week with double overtime.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's right, Minnesota.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah,
What I mean, and if you didn't see that game,
I
they
did
got
see-
handed
I remember
that
that.
game.
Yeah,
They got handed that game. The guy
App
had
State
two-
should have beat them actually.
they should have beat them. I think they lose this week. Minnesota, I think that's my upset of the week. Oh, did we do locks?
Oh no, we did not. There's one more college game I think that's really interesting is
Okay.
number 15 Kansas State is at Missouri. I'm really interested in that game. K-State was Big 12 champions last year, and they even look stronger this year. So I think that's going to be a good game. The reason I'm interested in it, I want to see how they measure up to SEC. And Missouri's decent. They're not great, but they're decent.
I like K-State in that game.
I like
too.
K-State also in that too.
Cousin Ian, I'm going against you, brother.
And you know, this year I said I wasn't going to pick any Auburn games. This is the only game I'll pick all year for them. Auburn over Samford.
Oh yeah.
Fred Sanford.
Kansas State's one of those teams. If in a game, if I'm in doubt, I usually go with Kansas State because it seems like they have a tendency to pull some really
Kansas State's. Are they at home?
It's at Missouri.
Oh, it's that should be a good ball game.
That's
That should
excellent.
really be a good ball
Yeah.
game. Maybe I'll try to get some of that.
K-State's got a quarterback, Will Howard, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
All right, let's do locks real quick. Keith, what's your best pick today?
Let me pull the schedule back up, and I'm gonna make it an NFL pick, so it's not gonna. I'm not gonna include college teams in this.
Harris, we'll come back to you, Keith. Harris?
I'm going to go to the Eagles.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go, I guess, with the 49ers.
Rob?
I like that pick too. Boy, oh boy, I tell you, there's a couple out there that, but yeah, but I like both of their picks, Philly and the Niners. Hey, look, I said they were a top 3 NFC team. I'll take Detroit. I think Detroit wins soundly against Seattle.
Okay. I like all 3 of those picks. It's kind of not fair to pick colleges because you know Georgia's going to beat South Carolina. You know
Right. They're almost lopsided.
They're
Almost too lopsided. Yeah.
There'll be a couple of close games possibly, but that's too easy for our locks.
Yeah.
I'm liking Cleveland over Pittsburgh. Okay. I think Cleveland's going to be very strong this year, and
I like it.
Now they got 2 edge rushers, and it's going to be even tougher on quarterbacks now.
And none of us took the Cowboys. And I almost did.
I'll tell you what, man. The Jets defense.
That's the thing.
That's it. That's the unknown. We don't know what the Jets
I didn't take
defense
Dallas is I look at what Prescott done last week. He had 0 interceptions.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doing it 2 weeks in a row.
Come back and throw the ball all over the place to gangrene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Jets defense can keep them in games.
And I'll tell you what, how many quarterbacks are they going to hurt? Think about that. They've already got their quarterback hurt. How many are they going to injure before the year's out? That would scare me too.
Whereas that thing, how many are going to get hurt with leg injuries with non-contact?
Yeah.
That's the problem you're going to have.
You're right.
Well, this week
it's horrible in these NFL players.
If Zach Wilson goes down, Jets definitely have a problem.
Yep.
Yep.
They have to be gonna at least get a backup because did they have anybody on the practice squad?
They did bring up Boyle off the practice squad today.
Yeah.
I think his name is Boyle.
Royal?
Brian Broyle was he at Alabama?
No, I don't think so.
Where was Broyle? Maybe he played Kansas State.
No, not K-State.
Brian Broyle.
Yeah. Who's the number 2 quarterback at the Jets?
Quarterback Brian
Well,
Broyle.
they didn't have a third string.
And they didn't have a third listed.
Well, okay, so it would be
New
the
York
guy that brought
Jets
up.
quarterbacks. Yeah, they don't even have a number 3 listed in there right now. Yep. Yeah, they didn't even have Chris Streveler. Straveller? Chris Straveller. I don't know if they even still have him or not.
When Miami lost 2 on the playoffs last year, the backup quarterback at Miami actually won a playoff game for them.
Carson Wentz is going to end up being their quarterback.
Have they called him yet?
Colt McCoy's been called today, they said. Colt
They
McCoy.
supposedly have set up at least a tryout, a workout.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's been a good show, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next Tuesday, same time.
I'll try to make it back if I can. I don't know my schedule, but tonight I was actually home pretty early. We got storms here early on, so we almost had to call it a day early at work today.
That's the thing I forgot to look up was the weather on Sunday, and the weather did affect a couple of games last Sunday.
I think there's a chance Thursday night Philly could get a little bit of wet, but I don't think it matters.
No. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Thanks.
See you all later.